and industrious co-working in the North Loop. Okay, so the wonderful people we have here today. Our moderator is Brandyn Negri from Live Your Yes, and the panelists are Ericka Jones, Jenni Greenway, Vinny Amendola, and Dr. Matt Wiest. Thank you all so much for being here. Brandyn, thank you for leading this conversation today. Your different areas of expertise support many different ways of caring for and improving ourselves, so we're grateful to have you here. And you being a longtime dear friend of mine means a lot. I know firsthand your passions and incredible knowledge for what you do has been able to offer amazing support and change for many. So I'm gonna hand it over to you, and thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
Good morning. I'm calling in today from northwestern Montana, and I'm driving back to your neck of the woods later today. So it's an honor to be on this panel amongst some exceptional, influential human beings in our community. I'd like to have each panelist introduce themselves, and maybe more specifically, because we only have so much time to talk today, something that you're passionate about in the topic of health and wellness. What is your expertise in this bigger realm of what we're talking today? And I'd like Vinny to start. And then Vinny, if you would just pick somebody else on the panel to speak next, we'll just domino from there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brandyn. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vinny Amendola. I am a co-founder of Alter. We are a high-intensity interval training fitness studio with locations both in the North Loop and also in Edina. My expertise really is in community connection in the wellness space, right? So the business that I am part of is about providing fitness services, exercise, specifically high intensity interval training, right? So things like kettlebells and box jumps and ski ergs and rowing and, all that fun, aggressive workout type stuff. But really, I would say my business is about building relationships. And that's what interests me the most about the fitness industry, is the fact that it's the best part of people's days typically. I don't have to convince anybody to get excited about the brand or get excited about being there. Typically, people are happy in the fitness space, and that's a big departure from my past corporate jobs that I had. So I would say, even though it is a fitness and wellness business, my expertise really is in connecting people and building community. Did I answer your questions, Brandyn?
Of course you did. You are all of those things you just said. So Vinny, would you pick somebody else on the panel to go next?
Sure. How about Jenni?
Sounds good. Hi, everybody. I am Jenni Greenway. And I would say before this pandemic, I did a lot in the fitness world and just basically focused on group fitness. I worked at a couple different gyms, and my main thing was trying to bring moms, women who have children, or families, or people who are very busy. Throughout the pandemic, I've started my own fitness page, trying to get that to the in-home person when we couldn't get to the gyms, and all of us needed exercise more than anything at that point. As an outlet, as a stress reliever, as something for myself is what keeps me focused in my own life and happy in my own life to start my day out with that. So kind of transition from that gym to bringing it home, and now slowly transitioning it back to the home or to the gym also, which so thankful for that. But we also have a family foundation that really works in connection with kids and the community. And we've seen a need more than ever right now, trying to get kids help that they need, not just in the hospitals that used to be just the hospitals, but now we're really trying to hit everybody, because kids right now are having a really hard time without school, without their friends, without their activities. And just like them, us, they need that in their daily life to keep them regular, to keep them happy, to keep them social. And so we've kind of transitioned now, getting our foundation to not just the hospital and clinics where kids needed us most before, but just out in the play yards in the community now throughout this entire social distancing act. So we've kind of pivoted throughout it all, and it's actually kind of a fun way to pivot. I mean, it's a terrible experience, but a fun way to bring light to it and see how we can impact everybody, not just on a normal day-to-day basis, but now throughout when the times get tough. So does that answer that all?
Girl, you are one busy lady. Thank you.
Lord, trying to. So I'm going to hand it off then to Ericka.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ericka Jones. I feel like I was like, whoa, Vinny, Jenni, really great to answer right after you. For me, what I bring to this is I am a yoga teacher and inclusion and diversity leader. So the pandemic that I think of is the race pandemic, and the racial injustice pandemic. It is a pandemic, and so it would be really remiss of me to not say that right now, considering like less than 24 hours what we just experienced in downtown Minneapolis. So for me, really leveraging yoga, it is like a way of ending all suffering for individuals, ending all suffering for others and our human race as a whole. And really leveraging like my day work and inclusion and diversity and equity to really think about how do we bring this conversation and bold conversations into spaces when we don't want to have them, in order to really listen to marginalized groups that are not really being heard, that has led to essentially a pandemic and an injustice that has been going on for so long. So that is what I bring here. I think I answered that question.
Yeah, you did. Ericka, thank you for all the work you're doing. Yes, thank you. And Matt, we'll have you go next.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Wiest, and I'm the owner-operator of the Center of Movement here in the Twin Cities. Something that I think that I can bring to the table is kind of similar to Vinny. I love community building and connection building, but specifically in physical and mental health, just that empowerment education piece. I feel like right now we're just in a time where there's so much, we're waiting for the next answer and we're waiting for the next step. And I think that just feeling that empowerment to kind of, show up for yourself and your family in different ways. Hopefully I can inspire people to do some of that.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. So yeah, it's been an extraordinary year. In less than a year, we've been hit with a global pandemic called COVID-19. It's taken 179,000 US deaths. We're in a global awakening, as Ericka spoke to, about social injustice. The trigger was in the Minneapolis community with George Floyd. Our businesses are being looted. Businesses are closing doors permanently. Kids are now in virtual school, which I don't think any of us expected this to go through into the fall. And now we're moving into a presidential election. Can we all just say that our stress levels are probably a little bit high right now? And I think the importance of taking care of ourselves and managing our stress has never been more important than the moment we're in right now. And so I'd like to ask each of you to share how you manage your stress. I mean, stress is something invisible, right? It shows up differently in each of us. So as we pop around the panel, each of you are going to have something, I think, maybe unique to share. It could be in the share of how I deal with my mental stress, my physical stress, the breath, and how the breath can help support stress. So I'll start again. This time I'm going to start with Ericka. And Ericka, I'd love for you to then just continue that vibe, picking and letting everyone share something of how you're dealing and managing your stress.
Yeah, I would say the word managing stress is, I think the word managing for me like also sounds like there's something that I have to control about it, and like force it into something, especially since March. And for me, what I've brought into it is like a little bit of grace, and not even a lot of grace, where it's like really sticking to a ritual in the morning and doing the same thing every day in the same order. Because working from home and going inside, it was very easy to then get caught up in something. Next thing you know, it's noon, I haven't showered, I haven't done all that, blah, blah, blah. And so for me, like really sticking between the hours of, I wake up super early until 7 a.m., turning my phone on do not disturb, and literally writing 12 steps, like it's called dinacharya in yoga, with Ayurveda, and literally those 13 steps I did in order every single day, same order. So for me, that really created a sense of grounding. And then around like 7:30, let the world come in. It's kind of, I used to always say this. Now it's like, I don't like saying it. It's in the sense of putting your own face mask on in the airplane, right? And then letting the world come back in. And with Grace, it was also just movement. And the movement was either going on a walk, or if it was like I didn't feel like doing a heavy workout, like, or an intense workout, like that was okay. Some sort of movement is really what was important, because that really shifted what it looked like. And connecting with a core group of people, like these faces on the screen here, the panelist on the screen. I mean, it was literally like a lifeline. And so, yeah, being in conversations, and I think also like really being able to set boundaries for myself of what I listen to. So minimizing the news, minimizing like lots of noise and opinions. And what's very, very instrumental for me is meditation twice a day. That was like one of the 12 steps in the morning, and then 20 minutes at night, which were key. So that for me was like doing the same thing, was helped regulate and temper the stress, and like allow me to feel what I needed to feel throughout it.
I love that. Ericka, would you mind, you mentioned the 12 steps that you're doing. Is that something that you could put in the chat for if anyone else was interested in doing that? That sounds really neat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ericka. Okay, Matt, let's go to you.
All right. Yeah. So something for me that's been really valuable is a way that I manage stress is just through learning and just being consistent. So similar to Ericka, just having a routine, but something that I'm passionate about is just, yeah, being able to learn from other people. So I found myself slowing down a lot against my own will sometimes. And actually, thanks to Ericka, there's something that she said to me once that really stuck out was maybe we can share it another time. It's a story about sharpening your axe. And yeah, it's something that just I share that with people all the time. And thank you for that conversation like 4 months ago, Ericka. But yeah, that's something that I feel like has been really valuable for my stress management, is just understanding that it's okay to slow down. And just because things that might have made me feel more stressed out a year ago, it doesn't necessarily mean that has to be my narrative for right now. And I find that the slower that I go, the more patience I have when I get home with my family and with my kiddos, which is a huge win in an area that admittedly I probably was neglecting a little bit when I was not sharpening my axe and going really hard. So just kind of embracing and giving myself grace that it's okay to slow down, take some time to learn some new skills, or even just some new things about yourself. And that's been really, really huge for me in the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like this time has given you a lot of perspective and reflection of your life before and now during all of the things that we're all living through. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as things, arguably, maybe that we're shifting back into different things opening up, or, schedules are maybe filling up a little bit. It also, yeah, it definitely gives more of that perspective on like what actually is valuable and where you want to invest time. So in that way, it's been, yeah, huge learning opportunity. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Jenni, what about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as there. I am a very type A person and I like routine, and I need routine. That's kind of what keeps me feeling good and feeling balanced. I always joke with my husband, I'm probably somewhere on the spectrum of a little OCD, because when I'm thrown off of my normal routine, it throws my mood, it throws all of that off. So the first part of all of this, when all of my control was gone from everything, that was probably the hardest thing for me to sort of be okay with, was that nothing was my say-so anymore, that I couldn't just go do whatever I wanted. And at that point, I don't even do much. I have 4 kids. I don't do much, but the fact that you couldn't do anything almost felt worse than not being on, you know what I mean? It's like, it was like that. I didn't want to go out to dinner, but the fact that you couldn't, it made you start feeling smothered, like you had no options for anything. So once I kind of gave up trying to control everything again and trying to always have my neat little calendar, that was huge for me. It was nice to be able to be like, okay, get over it, move along. Now that plan A is gone, we're going with plan B, and let's enjoy it. So we really embrace the slowdown. We both coach our daughters in basketball, 7th and now 4th grade, and they're in travel soccer, and we're all over, and we love being busy. And so when the whole family had to pause, we were all quickly complaining about it. And then once we're like, okay, over it, now let's move along, this is it. We really embrace the family time. We always have a family dinner because that's important to us. But now we weren't scarfing it down. We were actually able to like eat and speak and talk, and creating a routine for the girls for their homeschooling stuff, for their e-learning was huge. They all, like, I would look at my 9-year-old, she's now a 9-year-old, and it was like noon, and it was like she was in fleece pajamas and messy hair. I'm like, pull it together. You know, like, we've got to all, let's get up and act like we're leaving the house today, even though we didn't, you know? And once we created that, like everybody said, that gave us that new sense of normalcy. And that gave me that calm feeling that I had before everything hit. So that was big. And as we get back into normal life, embracing the things that we took advantage of before and took for granted, loving those now and being happy that we can do those and thankful for that. And even noticing it to our kids, like, let's be thankful. Like, let's go, we can go out to dinner. Like, we can go on to the park. We can go do whatever. And even instilling that, like, it doesn't have to be a great day trip or a great vacation. It could be, you know, to Minneapolis or wherever, and let's enjoy it and be thankful for what we have. So once we all got there and everybody felt the same kind of calmness, I feel like we moved much better as a family unit in the house. And then once kids realized what Zoom calls were and that they could be seen in the background, and we ironed that out with not coming in their rooms, everybody was a lot happier too. We had kids photobombing adults and adults photobombing kids, not even realizing it. They're in school and we'd like walk by doing something, like, oh, sorry, hi, Mrs. So-and-so. But yeah, so kind of calming everything down and now enjoying life.
Yeah, you have a lot of gratitude. I don't know if anyone else hears this. And Jenni, I hear you just constantly weaving in gratitude with all of the things that are happening in your life. And I always find that as a really neat quality when someone's speaking. You probably don't even know you're doing it, but given all the things that you have going on. So do you see that in yourself?
I do. And I think we try so hard to put it into our kids to be grateful for everything that they have, that it has become so much part of our daily, like, we're regurgitating it all the time because we were taught that way. We were taught to appreciate everything, to do what you can, to always be trying to help and always be trying to bring up those around you. Like, if you're here, bring everybody up to your level. And if you're not, you better be around people that are going to bring you up to their level, because that's who you should be surrounded by. So I think that just, I'm exuding kind of maybe what I was taught as a kid too. And hopefully, yeah, I mean, it's good. Nobody wants a Debbie Downer. You know, it's easy to always look at the negative stuff, right? It's easy to, this is terrible, that's bad. It's good to create to name what's good. And then also give a problem for what's bad. Try to solve the problem. Try to make things better. Don't just state the problem and then walk out the door. That doesn't help anybody. So we're a big solution family here. We're always like, don't just state it. Let's figure out how we can solve it.
Thank you, Jenni. And then Vinny.
Hi, Brandyn. Hi, everyone.
Tell us how you're navigating all of this.
Yeah, I think for me, the first thing with managing stress is really to feel it, right? To let it in, to understand it without being initially reactive, because I think sometimes we have the tendency to react without really understanding why or where the stress is coming from. So for me, it's really about feeling it, letting it in, and then understanding it. And does it motivate me? Because sometimes I think stress is a good thing. It can motivate you to change behavior, or in this pandemic, for me, it was about how do I reconnect with people in a different way. I was not able to physically see clients. in the gym or to give people hugs or to, see our team, but we pivoted to an online platform through Zoom to do live stream classes. And so, initially it was very stressful. Oh my goodness, we have to close our business. And not only is it a financial hardship, but also it was a purpose loss in a sense. It's like, oh my goodness, this is what I do. And now I don't have it. Now I can't do it. And, initially it's like, oh my goodness, you want to maybe freak out. But it was really understanding where the stress came from, what the problem was, to Jenni's point, what is the solution to the problem, and really feeling it and then making a plan to manage the stress. And in that case, to move through it. I think likewise with stress, to both Ericka and Matt's points, allow yourself grace, because it's okay to let stress detract you too, right? If you let it in and you really feel it, and it's something that maybe makes you a little bit unhappy or something that you want to work on or change, I think that's okay too. I believe it's okay to allow ourselves grace. And I think it's something that we don't typically do, right? I feel like initially in the pandemic, I had some different goals and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to read a book a week and I'm going to put together puzzles. And at first I was doing all these things and I was like, who the heck are you? Like, yes, I like to read. And yes, I like to put a puzzle together every once in a while, but it wasn't like, I don't try and put together tons of puzzles, in a month. So to just be realistic about the stress and to allow myself grace. And you know what? It's okay sometimes to say, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm not going to work. I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to take a walk. And to really allow myself that time and that space. So I think it's a lot of things, but I think of stress as pressure, and how do you allow that to motivate you or detract you, and to be okay with where you're at.
Vinny, you are hitting on a point that actually it was a question sent in earlier that I think you're segueing right into it. So I'm going to ask you, I would say you're in the business of motivating people, right? Like you're in the business,
Yes.
You said earlier, I would say people feel better after they've been in front of you or anyone at Alter. So the question is, how does someone get motivated? Most people are sitting in front of screens on one meeting after the next meeting with kids now in virtual school. Like, what is your secret? How do you motivate to get started?
Yeah, that's a good question, Brandon. Motivation actually starts from within me. I am just a motivated person because I love my life, and I find that motivation is a way to keep me positive, to keep my mindset right, to keep things straight. But also what motivates me is showing up for other people. We all know this. We have to take care of ourselves before we can share love and be love and give love. And at the same time, I'm motivated by myself. Yes, the people around me, the team I work with, the clients I get to see, the people I interact with through Lululemon, my friends, they all motivate me. I want to show up and be the best version of myself. But the motivation really starts with me. It's that type A. It's that idea of, not just existing, but thriving in life. And when I say thriving, it doesn't mean you have to get out there and start a business or write a book or have some sort of groundbreaking, offering that's so big. I don't think life is always about these big moments. I think life is sometimes about the minutia. And for me, being motivated is about just being part of that and staying present in it. But showing up for yourself and for other people. There's that expectation you put on yourself, and it has to be done in a way that feels graceful and kind. Because sometimes we're not kind to ourselves, right? Including me. There are times where I'm like, oh my goodness, you didn't do this right, or you need to work harder, or you need to put together another puzzle or read another book. But backing off for a second and saying, I'm okay existing in the little details, and my success is not just defined by these big, grand moments, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. And
You're welcome.
Ericka, something that you're doing in the community is you're bringing people together outdoors, and you're leading yoga classes. I know Matt's part of it. I think everyone in the panel might be part of it. Will you just share with us what you are creating, and what are you seeing, as a result of people like getting together in real time?
Yeah, so it's a yoga summer series. So it's been happening 3 years now at Target Field Station. So it's the green space right in the front. And it's that space was not ever utilized before. And so now this summer, obviously with the restrictions of capacities in studios, it's amazing to see the number of instructors and teachers that have leveraged it. And what I really love about that space is that it's accessible to everyone, and it's right in the heart of downtown, and no one used it before. So it brings in all walks of life right there. So it could be unsheltered who stops, they just walk right over, join in, kids. And, you know, that happened last week when Matt was there as well. And the whole intention is to have it be donation based. Before it was to help support Africa Yoga Project, because I went there, as you know, Brandyn. And this year we're supporting the Dripping Root, which is a Black owned business, and it's opening in South Minneapolis. And this year, you know, I really wanted to be intentional about having a diverse group of teachers that were doing it and giving a platform for people to give that space. And what I've really learned is, you know, the psychological impact that has been stored within us, like being quarantined and away from people, how that is really embodied. And when people have seen each other, it's the whole spirit awakens. And at the same time, it also feels weird where there's some individuals like, I haven't been around people, this many people in a long time. So then there's that unshedding of that, right? So it's two things, but all in all, I mean, we're built for community. We're built to be around people, you know, that introverts, if you want to say introverts, are discovering that they are extroverts. You know, we do have both, right? And then like we all have both of those sides in us. And like it is honestly one of the biggest virtual hugs to see people walk up, and you can't see their smiles sometimes because some are wearing masks, but during practice you can see on their entire body the whole thing alive. So just come alive and just smiling throughout it. And you know, it's been really great because we haven't had any rain thus far. We've had this partnership with Mother Nature, and so it's deal. So it's so sunny, and by 11 o'clock, everyone is walking out feeling really renewed and being outside and moving, because we're so used to seeing that area particularly filled with, you know, a Twins game, or, you know, downtown being really filled with people. And so being that that's taken away, it's really great to see the magic energy there. And we have some classes that are happening in September, and it'll be really great because I'm excited for the very last one with a collaboration that these individuals don't know about, but they probably will assume. So it's pretty cool, especially with the kids there, like running around, like watching kids just running around, and the innocence of that was just it's so soul filling, that if we all could have like embody that childlike spirit and play. And so that's what it offers: our feet in the grass, our face in the sun, moving, breathing together, which is, it's pretty powerful. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ericka. And then Matt, will you share with us, so you are a chiropractor, and you also guide people in really deliberate ways of breathing and in moving. How are you seeing this practice help people get back into their bodies and just feel better?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, and I think one of the main ways, especially with the type of work that we do, we like to again, like with the empowerment education piece of physical and mental health, is trying to teach people how to move their way out of pain, whether that's physical, and then now with a lot of the things that we've been doing over the last 2 years, it's trying to do a little bit more with mental health as well. But one thing that it's usually on a one-on-one basis with patient care, just teaching them how to move. But something that's been something that's kind of come up lately with the breath work is just finding a community of people. I'd seen somebody on the Q&A ask about the motivation piece, and then Vinny had said it about how it comes from within, and I think that that's so true. For me, something that's been really powerful is getting together with a small group of men on Friday mornings and doing a breathwork practice. And I think that part of that fulfilling piece to me is being able to be with that small group of people. So it kind of ties into what Ericka was saying, that connection piece that we're all missing in a lot of different ways right now. So it's kind of a gateway into a lot of different things. There's the physiological benefits of breath work and movement, but then also some of the psychological benefits, especially when you get together with a group, I think are often undervalued. And I think that that's where a lot of the magic comes in, is just being able to share something where you're embodying that empowerment within yourself, and then being able to share that with a group of people when everybody's kind of shining at the same time is really cool. So
awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
And then Jenni, I'll let you start this conversation. So you have a family with kiddos and virtual schooling, and you have business that you're involved in. What are some of the creative ways you work with your kids in the virtual platform? I'm assuming, I don't know this, that they're doing maybe some more schooling online. How are you creatively working with that and keeping your kids on par while you do all of your things too?
Well, we are fortunate. The school they go to is a private school. They're going to Providence Catholic, and they are actually going full on for now, 5 days a week, masks on and social distance, because they're at the advantage of having a smaller enrollment. So much different than the public schools. But in the fall, they were at a public school, or in the spring, I'm sorry, they were at Wiest public schools. And my 6th grader was awesome. They already on the iPad nonstop. She knew it better than I did. I'd offer my help, and she's like getting like, okay, I got it. Like, move over. My 3rd grader, which was great because that made me feel very confident in the fact that she didn't need my help, and she loves school and is very with her grades. And so I'm like, perfect. You have that. She loved being able to like communicate with the teacher, but I'm lucky because she isn't intimidated by teachers. You know, she likes to have that conversation. If she doesn't get something, she'll be like, hey, I'm totally confused. So it made me really proud of where she stood in the school, because it was fun to see her stand on her own. When they're in school all day, you don't really get to see how they really take school serious. You know what I mean? So it was fun to see her. I'm like, okay, great. We've done good with her. And then our 3rd grader, she was thrown by baptism by fire into this, like, the group call and let's do your homework. And she's more of the social butterfly in school. She loves school, but she's there to talk. Like, this girl wants to know, she knows everybody. You walk into school and they're like, oh, Beckett is an orthodontist appointment. I mean, she's talked to every secretary, to everybody down the line getting there. And so having her only be on a Zoom call for 10 minutes with the class, or whatever it was with the group, I saw her go through more of a hard part of, like, she didn't really love school as much because the fun part of the connectivity with the kids was gone. You know what I mean? So we tried creating private Zoom calls then with some of her friends from class or some other moms and that, trying to get them in touch with kids more, and talking school, but more talk, how are you? What are you talking about at lunch and recess? You know what I mean? The goofy stuff. Letting them be kids and letting them keep that connection, because that's huge for them. I mean, that's part of why we don't live all in our home all together at one time. Everybody, like Ericka said, introvert or extrovert, we all realize that we like being around people more than we thought we did beforehand. You know what I mean? Even if you're like, oh, I'm an introvert, I'm okay with this, you know? So that was important for us to really weave in that social part for her. And then our kindergartner she's only at school for recess and lunch, and that's how it should be. I'm sorry, she was preschool. Recess and lunch were her things for school. You know, so we really tried to play on that. So we'd have a little Zoom call with her friends, and they'd eat lunch together with their little trays or whatever, you know, and try to simulate, you know, the cafeteria table. And we had fun with it. In preschool, it's not like she's going to fall behind without the preschool stuff. You know, that's more of the social skills. But we had fun with it. I would Google different things online of what ideas to do, because I'm not a teacher, and my parents were teachers. Good Lord, if we were I almost called them in for backup, because they were graced with patience. I was not necessarily graced with those patients that they have. So that was something I had to learn. But we did things like learn how to tie her shoes. We learned how to like zipper and do all the stuff, and when she goes into kindergarten, those are things that they're expected to know. So kind of taking the things that were going to be fun and things that I could handle and making sure that we just capitalized on that. And things that were out of my league, I could admit it's out of my league. I'm not sure how to do that. So, you know, Google if you have to. I don't know if teachers want us Googling stuff, but listen, like I saw that thing, it said, because math is much different now. And they're like, oh, they're home with mom and dad. They're going to learn how to carry the one real quick, because that's how we did. I'm like, listen, my oldest one would be like, well, how do I do this? I'm like, figuring it out over here. Answer. And then I'm like, let me figure it out your, you know, and I have to like circle back and figure it out. But it was kind of fun. It was challenging, and I'm glad that we're working our way through it, but you had to kind of laugh it off sometimes. What'd you say?
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
But I said I love it. Did
Yeah.
we pause there for a second? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So due to time, let me look at some questions here. Okay. So this one is to Ericka. Do you lead more talks or practices outside of yoga these days? I feel like your steps and daily intentions would be very helpful to learn from.
Well, I would say the one thing that has been pretty beneficial that during this is I'm doing a yoga studies program right now, so it's 9 months long. So it came from that. Talks or practices, not really. No, not really. No, I mean, I have, no, not really.
Okay.
Kind of.
Perfect.
Sporadically.
Maybe there's something there for you. It's a future possibility, Ericka.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. What are your favorite go-tos when you think about food, eating healthy, meditation apps, workouts, anything that, and we'll just kind of like do a quick fire round and have each person like shoot something, because we're a really app-friendly society and we want to learn from you all. What are your favorite go-tos? Oh, and then I'll start with Jenni.
Okay, I'm not, so I know we're an app-friendly society, but I'm not one to carry my phone or things around. So I'm kind of more of an old school society, I guess, kind of thing. So my go-to is just to kind of log what we're doing for the week. I like having, and we'll go with the food piece, because we do eat very healthy and we try to eat as clean as possible. And we try to keep that and do that without always having to, you know, necessarily scramble at the last minute. So I really do try to kind of plan out my meals. What days are we really busy? What was easy during the social distancing part, but normally it's like, what days are we not able to have dinner here? What days are we scattered for dinner? What days are we out? Whatever it is, I tried having things planned and ready, because it's impossible to make a healthy meal when you have 15 minutes, if you have nothing ready to go. So being intentional with what do I need to grab? What do we need to have? And what are go-tos to have on? Like I always have rotisserie chicken, because I feel like you can throw that in everything. And my big, if I say protein to my kids one more time, they're probably going to make me move out. But I'm big on that. Like strawberries, great. You're not going to fill up for a soccer practice on $7 worth of strawberries, you know? So getting in a protein, having things that are handy close by that you can grab and they're washed and cleaned and prepped. Like have the veggies washed, have everything prepped, have them in the fridge, because you're going to always grab what's easy. And usually what's easy is a prepackaged something or other in your cabinet. So bring that into your refrigerator, clean it, have it prepped, ready to go. And that you're not going to be perfect. You're going to have days, and we have like I always say Chipotle is like our sort of healthy eat out, because everybody can get what they want. They can get all their stuff, and I feel like it's not that bad and it's relatively quick. So, you know, we're human. We're not going to always eat at home and have a thing. So we just try to do the best we can. So have your ideas and just plan it out. And grace, give yourself grace. If you got to do the drive-through, listen, I mean, that's life. You're going to be good. You're going to be fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, Jenni, you're hired. Let's connect later. All right, Matt, what's your favorite go-to?
Yeah, so my favorite go-to is an app called 10% Happier. It's a meditation app that I really like. The reason I like it is because it's not directed by one facilitator. It's got a lot of different facilitators on the app, but then also there's a big education piece to it. So it's not just meditation. So if you're just like, I don't feel like I don't feel like tuning out and trying to get into a space right now. You can actually watch videos on different topics, various topics that I find for me are super interesting. So that's been my go-to for sure. Working with patients, talking a little bit about what Jenni was saying about about grace, because I think food can definitely be, I mean, that food is a very amazing tool to pull out of stress, but I think there can also be a lot of stress or pressure around eating well. So what I try to tell my patients to do is, instead of focusing on all the things that you're failing at, just log some of the small wins that you're making. So maybe that's like a bullet journal style on like, hey, I'm trying to add in these greens, this much water, or whatever it is, instead of taking out all these things. Because I think that can just create a lot of anxiety and stress, or that failure feeling if you're constantly like, oh shoot, I had this again, or I did this. So instead, celebrating like, oh, I'm gonna add this in. I have one patient that she still eats pizza probably 2 or 3 days a week, but her rule is every time I eat a piece of pizza, I'm also eating like a cup of spinach or some kind of greens. So that way she's adding some stuff in. And I think that, I don't know, I think that that's a good way to look at it if food is causing you a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So.
I work with same kind of thing. So I love what you just said. Thank you for offering that.
Yeah.
And then Vinny, what about you, my friend?
You know, my go-to really is journaling, and it's not really a specific means of journaling. I think for me, it's about either being creative, maybe it's writing a short story or a poem, or maybe it's just being reflective as to how I'm feeling or what's going on. Sometimes it's just a matter of like dumping my brain onto paper so I can clear space in my head to be present for business or for friends. And journaling for me is not always a consistent. It's something that I've done throughout my life, on and off, but it really is a go-to that helps me to stay pretty calm and steady. And it also helps to relieve a lot of anxiety, because I think sometimes for me, just having a to-do list in my head, or just having so many things that you want to accomplish or get done, if I don't get that done on paper, sometimes it could almost paralyze me. So journaling is it is my go-to. It definitely is something that keeps me in a good mindset and very level-headed.
Awesome.
And then
Thank
potato
you,
chips.
Vinny.
Potato chips are another
Of course. We have
Not
to
all
have
the time,
something to chip. Yeah,
but
no, that's
come
okay.
on, a
No
good
judgment.
chip. Yeah, a good chip every once in a while. That is also a go-to.
Oh, I
Maybe
love
you
that.
could eat
All
a
right,
chip
and
while
Miss
you're
Eric,
journaling.
perfect.
I love it.
And then
All
Matt,
things
you
in
would have him
balance.
put like a cup of spinach next to it too.
Oh my gosh, then we're just making it nachos. So then that like turns into like the best thing.
I'm here for the nachos all day.
Yeah, totally. Rotisserie chicken, Jenni, I'm down with that
Yes.
because literally, yeah, I just shred it up and put it on top. Rotisserie chicken, that's amazing, because I swear it's literally like a go-to for everything. So I love that. For me, like meditation is key. So I've the one that I use is, or like to use if I use it, is Insight Timer. Sarah Blondin is one of my favorites that's on there. Also the Big Quiet, Jesse Israel, he has become a friend of mine actually during COVID. He was on the tour with Oprah, and then he created the Big Quiet, which is like, they used to lead mass meditations, and it's really great. So he's also on Audible and has some meditations, and there's sound bowl healings and all of that. Eating has been really great, in the sense of really noticing what I eat to help regulate like mood throughout the day. Back in May, I stopped drinking coffee as a result of a cleanse that I did. So I haven't drank coffee since then. And what I realized is that coffee actually, based on Ayurveda, like was agitating for me. Like, just think of your carrying anxiety, and so then here it is inside. So in my apartment was probably like ping pong balls everywhere. So I now resort to like every morning, like clockwork, warm like heated water, lemon, apple cider vinegar, and collagen, like every morning. And honestly, it's created more energy versus like these crashes throughout the day. And I feel like those are like the biggest things. And yeah, daily practice, I would say, oh gosh, like as well, just like once a week, tacos, like hands down. I just had them yesterday and I was like, these are the best things ever.
I love it.
So like with chips, with the rotisserie chicken, add some spinach, Greek yogurt, make it healthy. It's like the best.
Now we're hungry.
Yeah.
All right, Molly, we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. This is a good, I'm hungry now. Thank you guys. Wow. This was incredible. I really appreciate all of your insights, from setting routine, apps to refer to, reminding ourselves to give ourselves grace. What we eat helps, but hey, nachos for everybody. Eating pizza and enjoying our chips, Vinny, is totally okay too, and being okay with that. So thank you all. This has been an incredible hour of conversation. I have Heather Dempsey jumped on here too. She is our director of experiences and she curates all of our lab talks. So thank you, Heather. I want to just kind of hand this over to you to announce the amazing giveaways and just wrap up with some announcements. Thank you all. Be well. Thank you.
For sure. Thanks, you guys. First of all, thanks to the panel and Brandon. Amazing. I literally have pages of notes. So funny notes, good notes, practical stuff. So thank you so much. But yeah, we're going to go through the giveaways. We have a huge list, so bear with us. I hope you win. And then I'll give you the scoop on the next lab talk and some of the things these guys are doing. Like I said, they kind of talked about it throughout the talk, but everyone is doing so many good things in the community that we will definitely also share in the follow-up email links. There's more promo codes, there's more events, and we want to make sure that you guys can meet these guys in real life or continue a virtual relationship. Follow on Instagram. They do help the wellness on the daily. So let's start the giveaways. Like I said, this is off the charts. So first of all, so Brandon of Live Your Yes is going to give away a 1-year subscription to the Calm app, which is amazing. I've signed both my boys up over time. So yeah, Camille Johns is the winner of that. And what I'll do is I'll email winners after and we'll connect everybody together so you can get your stuff. And then also we've got Sebesta Apothecary. I never can say that word, but she is a local maker and makes the most beautiful products out of the Quincy Street Kitchen. But she has 2 quarantine survival kits, which are very timely, and they smell amazing and look beautiful. And the 2 winners we have are Kenzie Curtin and Jordy Ludke. And so I will connect you guys. And then the Face Foundry, which is a great local business, where I personally go on the regular. So they have a focused facial for someone, and the winner is Madison Piper.
Yes.
So that's super good. Then we've got a custom spray tan by the Glow Lounge, so which is a great way. You feel good instantly if you've been in the sun, and this is a great way to do it in a healthy way. And the winner is Julia Schmidt. And then, okay, so Mother, if you've never gone to Mother Company in Northeast, they have the most beautiful cactus selection in tropicals, and they do have this new super cute, intimate event space. But to me, this is instant wellness. If you ever need to just go in there, that's where you need to meditate and do some yoga. It is so beautiful. But anyway, we've got a $50 gift card to someone, and it is Franny Seitz. Lucky you, that's a good one. Okay, now this is the one. Jenni and her husband co-founded Grey Duck Vodka, which, this makes everything better in my world. But we've got some vodka, some merch for them, and she's also going to provide some recipes, which I love because on Instagram she always has amazing recipes. So the winner of this is Noelle Simonson. So lucky you, that's a good one. Another thing too, Jenni and her husband have Lead the Way Foundation, which is amazing, and they do such great things in the community too. So follow them and support that. I love it. Okay, now Vinny, way generous here. He's given 2 winners a free month of unlimited access to Alter. So Lindsay Davis and let me see it, Raven Ziegler, you get to work out with Vinny, which I love. And we've also got a weekly promo that will be in the email. So that'll be great. I need that motivation. Okay, now Wandering Kitchen, if you guys don't know them, they are amazing. They do weekly menus, curbside pickup, beautiful food. And so they're gonna give away a dinner for 2. This week it's it's a Japan-inspired meal, which looks ridiculous, but it changes on the weekly. So you can pick whatever week you want. But the winner for the dinner for 2 is Michelle Knapp. So enjoy them. And then Lulu is going to do a 5-pack of their virtual sweat classes, and these guys are instructors, so that's super fun. You can pick and choose and work out with them through the Mall of America Experience Store. And the winner is Annie O'Donnell, so that's awesome. Another quick thing that I'm going to join the Share the Mic virtual event at Lulu tonight, which I think is still open for registration till like 3. So I think it's a super cool event with a great panel that I encourage people to sign up if you can and attend tonight. So I'm super excited about doing that. Okay, then the grand finale, the Lululemon North Loop store is going to give away a piece from their new outerwear collection that's going to be released in September. So yeah, like a down coat. I don't want to wish for winter, but I dig their outerwear so much that this is fabulous. So the winner is, who gets the beautiful coat? Sarah Ackerman. Okay, dude, you're going to look stunning and warm. Okay, so thank you so much to everybody. Like I said, that was kind of off the charts in terms of giveaways. And then our next lab talk, save the date, it's going to be September 17th. And we're going to talk about exploring collaboration and give back. So it kind of continues, but we're going to have Still Kickin' represented, Ini Inyaba from Faribault, and then Sun 50 and their amazing collaboration with Icons, which is Jasmine Smith, and she's empowering young women and athletes. Very, very cool. So that'll be in September. So look for more details on that because we'd love to have you guys join. And then this will also post a video recap online. So, but I just want to thank everybody, and I wish we were all in person. I'm not a hugger, but I hug you anyway. So hopefully someday we'll meet in person. But yeah, thanks to everyone for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks. Stay well.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.